better writers.
Exactly. I think that's a big one. Better get. I think too. Another problem is that nowadays they hire actors to do comedy. It's like it's not about the comedians anymore.
Yeah, and the concepts too aren't. You can go back to like the '90s and early 2000s. We had great concepts. Like for example, I don't know if you've ever seen this movie Pootie Tang.
I've heard about it.
Wow, like I don't know if it was Chris Rock who wrote that, but the writing in that is phenomenal. Like that that's like totally taking comedy to the next level. Like it really it plays up on all these different levels of comedy, which I like that. I don't want to see like the same old things, like the same old shtick over and over again. If I'm gonna watch a comedy, I want it to feel new. Like every other comedy, I want them to feel new.
I think too that a big problem that has affected comedy is kind of this correctness.
Yeah.
I think the correctness has hurt comedy in a way because it's like comedians are not allowed to be comedians.
Yeah.
And with that, stand-up comedy is dead. It's just right now I mean, people may disagree, and that's fine, but it seems to me that stand-up comedy has just died out, or if right now it's kind of in this stagnant state. We're not in this boom anymore. Like back in the 80s, you had guys like Robin Williams, Rodney Dangerfield, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, Sam Kinison. You had all these great stand-ups, and Bill Hicks in the 90s, and it seems like it just died out, and I think that's hurt the genre. I think it's another great we said about writers is that we don't have great writers nowadays. We don't have the material is non-existent.
Yeah,
I think it's just I want to say comedy's dead, but
yeah,
people are gonna disagree.
And like like a lot of these great comedic shows on television are given looking into the lives of these actual people. For example, like Jerry Seinfeld, to a degree, or like Larry David with Curb Your Enthusiasm. If done correctly like that, it should work. But then you get something like your Andrew Dice Clay when they did like Bless His House. And they won't let Andrew Dice Clay be Andrew Dice Clay. He has to be like a held back version of himself. And that kind of like destroys. It was a good show, but it destroyed the show. Now you get a show like his new show where they say, okay, you know what, we're going to let you be yourself and we're going to let you turn loose. And right away, the first thing I thought of when I was watching that show was it brought me right back to that Rodney Dangerfield era. Like the really dirty era of comedy. Like the Richard Pryor.
Yeah, I forgot Andrew Dice Clay did stand-up, so...
Yeah.
It was a great stand-up.
So I think that they need to trust the comics more. Let the comics be themselves. Stop trying to sugarcoat and make everything so what do you call that? So TV friendly. Because really, in reality, when you look at what's on TV, it's not TV friendly anyway.
Well, they're afraid of offending people.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you have to walk a fine line nowadays, and I think that's just it's just caused a downfall.
Yeah.
It's like, but in movies too. I mean, nothing's funny anymore. Who do you have? Jonah Hill. I mean,
and I'm getting sick of this thing where they'll make a sequel like the Vacation sequel they just made, but they won't bring in the original actors. And like the new actors, I like the new actors, but I would like it more if they brought in like the actual kid from Christmas Vacation or Vacation movies like
or anything Michael Hall.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Like I would like to see a movie with him in it. It would feel more authentic, like.
But I mean I think the comedy nowadays is, I think it's just lost. If anything else, it's a lost genre. Where action is, it's more, comedy is lost, and I think action is in the shitter.
Yeah.
How would you guys fix and improve the horror genre? That's the next question.
Same premise as the other two. Invest in actors, get actors who really want that material, have the writing good, maybe focus more on the practical, make things actual, bring more real things into the film so it feels more real.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, better characters, blue-collar characters, more practical effects, less found footage, less shaky cam.
Yeah.
Stop the fucking remakes, stop the reboots.
Yeah.
The prequels. I think the horror genres definitely need a lot more improvements and fixing. Like, out of the three, I think horror genre is the worst.
Yeah. I miss good horror. The last good horror movie I saw was not even a horror movie, it was a documentary. It was Welcome to the Scariest Place on Earth, The Nightmare. That was probably the best horror movie without it being horror I've seen in a while.
Do you think, well, what do you see horror in the future? Same old shit?
Probably. That's the way it looks like it's going, right? And even movies I really had high hopes for, like the Blair Witch sequel, exists. Like even that, like I love that movie, but it's not as good as Blair Witch was. It's the same director and everything, but it just didn't have that same adrenaline level as the other one did. But it's a great movie, don't get me wrong.
And stop the fucking possession exorcist movies nowadays.
Yeah.
That kind of paranormal activity, that's what I'm talking about. But possession films, haunting films, I think it's driven into the ground. Jump scares is too much. That needs to stop. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed, but I think they're just going to remain, they're going to keep being stupid about it and not fix it.
Yeah.
Next question, what is your favorite modern day song / movie? I don't have a favorite song today.
Yeah, me either. I listen to from oldest to newest, I would say I listen to Zeppelin, Pumpkins, Muse, and Silver Sun Pickups, stuff like that. But I don't really have anything that's, really stuck in my mind as of lately.
Movie. Nowadays, what do you count the last 10 years? Rambo?
Yeah. Definitely my favorite film of the last 10 years.
So, I would say that. Next question, do you guys like 70s music?
Oh yeah.
There's some I like. I mean, it's hard to name bands off the top of my head.
I like Rainbow, UFO, Zeppelin, Floyd, a little bit of Floyd. It was cool, when I saw the Dazed and Confused sequel, they played some really good Pink Floyd in that I totally forgot about from the Works album. Let's see what else I like. The Mummies. Just tons of old stuff.
I was trying to think of some names, bands and stuff, and I'm just drawing a blank.
Wasn't the first Van Halen album 79, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's started late 70s.
Yeah.
70s.
Sammy Hagar was back then, too. I'm pretty sure he was in the 70s. Or maybe early 80s.
There's certain songs I like from that era, but I just can't remember, certain names.
Like John Evangelist, they have this great song called The Friends of Mr. Cairo, and it's a 12-minute song, and it just taps into old gangster movies from it's like a long opus of a song with a whole bunch of these clips from like gangster movies and like old Arabian silver screen movies in it. And I'm pretty sure I think it might have came out in the 80s actually, but that's such a great song.
All right. Next question: funniest movie you guys have seen lately?
Oh.
What you mean like at the movie? Batman vs Superman?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and
it was so funny ridiculous. How they took my money twice.
I say that's.
It was like a Chris Angel routine or something. They like.
Yeah, that's. I can laugh at that.
Yeah.
That's one of the funniest movies I've seen lately.
Mm-hmm.
Next question: What do you guys got? What got you guys into music / movies / video games and comic books?
Okay. I guess I should try and go in order. It's like comic books. I was always a big fan of comic books, right? So when I was a kid, I used to draw all the time, like nonstop, just draw and draw and draw and draw and draw. And I had like tons of my own comic books that I used to make. I had like everywhere. They were just everywhere. I lost majority of them in a flood. But I have always had this really keen love for anything that has to do with paper, either writing or drawing. I've just always been stuck in that since a very young age. Music, my dad was a musician, so I got into music really, really young too. And I started playing in a lot of bands and just doing my own recordings. I got to one of my friends. His dad recorded bands like April Wine and stuff like that. So I got to learn all the technical side behind making music from them. All the like technical stuff on actual recording procedures and everything like that. So I would say by the time I was 17, I was just 16, 17. So we'll go back to like 1996. I was always enamored in recording and playing music until I was. I probably gave it up probably around 2012. But that's just because, like, I got really tired of it, having to go to shows every night, having to go to other shows, other people's shows. There was at least 1 year where every night I was at a different show. So, maybe one day I'll go. My girlfriend really wants me to go back to that. She's like, you were so great at that, why don't you go back to it? But, I just don't have that love for it that I used to. I find that since I started podcasting, like my heart's in there. And movies, I've always just had really great love for film. From my grandparents, always sitting me down and making me watch like black and white silver screen movies to whatever there was. I've always just loved film. So
yeah, I didn't collect much comics growing up, but music, my love for music has been there. I say when I was like maybe 10 or 11,
mm-hmm.
So around 2000, something like that. I mean, my love for music started to grow and grow,
mm-hmm.
and I can't go a day without it now.
Yeah,
I can't go a day without music. So
yeah.
Video games, I've been on and off with over the years. I've had a lot of systems like NES, Nintendo 64, the PlayStation 2. Right now I have a 360, but I rarely play that.